Hello everyone, welcome to our security update where we frequently address the latest security issues in Africa. Here are the notable stories making headlines this week. Somali President, US AFRICOM officials discuss counter-terrorism efforts. Somalia government says National Army kills 1,700 Al-Shabaab in 1 year. Fresh purge of French troops is set to leave Niger for Chad. Welcome to the program. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud of Somalia engaged in a strategic discussion with key representatives from the United States Africa Command regarding the ongoing collaborative efforts to counter the Al-Shabaab group in Somalia and the broader region. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud of Somalia engaged in a strategic discussion with key representatives from the United States Africa Command regarding the ongoing collaborative efforts to counter the Al-Shabaab group in Somalia and the broader region. The meeting took place within the esteemed confines of the presidential palace in Mogadishu. Present at this crucial gathering were Shane Dixon and Colonel David J. Haskell, the AFRICOM commander for Somalia, alongside high-ranking officials from the Somalia National Army and the commander of the Somalia Army Infantry. During this discourse, the United States government reaffirmed its steadfast commitment to supporting Somalia's relentless struggle against Al-Shabaab, a group that has persistently targeted the government of Somalia and its allies over the past decade. U.S. officials commended the unwavering dedication of the National Army in countering Al-Shabaab, highlighting their resolute efforts to safeguard the lives and well-being of the Somali populace. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud underscored the pivotal role of international collaboration in the fight against Al-Shabaab, emphasizing that Al-Shabaab poses a grave threat not only to Somalia but also to global security and stability. He emphasized the unwavering dedication of the Somali people and government to actively support military initiatives aimed at eradicating Al-Shabaab. The collective goal remains the restoration of peace and security not only within Somalia but also throughout the region, as reported by Villa Somalia. The federal government of Somalia has announced that the National Army has killed 1,700 Al-Shabaab fighters, including 57 senior leaders, and injured hundreds more during military offensives in the country over the past year. The federal government of Somalia has announced that the National Army has killed 1,700 Al-Shabaab fighters, including 57 senior leaders, and injured hundreds more during military offensives in the country over the past year. The Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, Daouda Wais, stated that the troops, in collaboration with local forces and international partners, have liberated 120 villages, districts and major towns from Al-Shabaab. They also claimed to have destroyed 73 Al-Shabaab bases along with a significant amount of weapons and military equipment. He added that Abdullahi Nadir, one of the co-founders of the armed group Al-Shabaab, was among the leaders killed in an operation with international partners last October. The country's information ministry said he was Al-Shabaab's chief prosecutor and was in line to replace the group's leader Ahmad Dirie, who is sick, as reported by the government. The major towns that the government of Somalia recaptured without resistance were Haradere and Galat. Haradere is a key coastal town and a former pirate hub. It was the biggest and most strategic town in Galmudug that was still in the hands of Al-Shabaab until last January. In a meticulously planned operation, the Somali National Army Defense Forces executed targeted actions against Al-Shabaab fighters across various locations in the Bakol region, including El Pon, which had been under Al-Shabaab's influence for several years.
In a meticulously planned operation, the Somalian National Defense Forces executed targeted actions against Al-Shabaab fighters across various locations in the Bakol region, including Helbun, which had been under Al-Shabaab's influence for several years. El Bun, situated 40 kilometers northwest of Wajitang, has been effectively liberated from Al-Shabaab, as confirmed by the National Army. However, specific details regarding casualties on both sides have not been disclosed by the security agencies. A military commander, Dam Onkod Mualim, verified the recapture of the town to the state media. Al-Shabaab has yet to respond to the significant developments. The commander emphasized that the military also successfully confiscated weapons abandoned by retreating Al-Shabaab fighters during the conflicts. Security agencies reiterated their steadfast commitment to continuing such operation until all remnants of Al-Shabaab are eradicated from Somalia. This marks the commencement of the second phase of anti-Al-Shabaab operation in various parts of the country, reflecting the nation's determination to establish lasting peace and security.
A suicide bomber detonated a car bomb at a security post outside Somalia's capital Saturday, killing at least 6 security personnel and injuring 7 others. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the early morning attack, but we will be back after the short break.
Making documentaries is one of the most creative craft and challenging endeavors you can be involved in. It is an effective strategy to inform, persuade, educate, defend the perspective, and shed light on various issues, policies, and activities. At CBA TV, documentary production is our forte. We capture every TikTok detail of events in highest resolution to tell the story you care about, from politics to human angle, research-based content, educative and informative. We also help you project your story in a dynamic perspective that attracts the world views of the target audience, as there is no better or more powerful way to place the organization's values and achievements than to make an excellent documentary film. No doubt, our strength lies in these ventures, and we pride in many award-winning documentaries which have been earning accolades across Africa and beyond. Let's tell your story.
Welcome back again. A suicide bomber detonated a car bomb at a security post outside Somalia's capital Saturday, killing at least 6 security personnel and injuring 7 others. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the early morning attack, in which the bomber drove a car packed with explosives into a car manned by military police at El Shabiha, about 20 kilometers west of Mogadishu. A suicide bomber detonated a car bomb at a security post outside Somalia's capital Saturday, killing at least 6 security personnel and injuring 7 others. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the early morning attack, in which the bomber drove a car packed with explosives into a car manned by military police at El Shabiha, about 20 kilometers west of Mogadishu. Initial reports say that the soldiers fired on the incoming car, but the windows were shielded with metal to deflect bullets, allowing it to hit the perimeter. The bombing targeted soldiers who were assigned to intercept Al-Shabaab car bombs. The Somalia government deployed hundreds of newly trained personnel in and around Mogadishu earlier this year to beef up security and prevent retaliatory attacks, as the National Army, working with local militias, battles Al-Shabaab in central Somalia. Earlier this week, an explosion from Al-Shabaab suicide bomber at a Mogadishu restaurant killed a prominent Somali television journalist, Abdel Fattah Maalim Noor Qais. The attack was strongly condemned by the government and media rights groups. A fresh batch of the French military troops are set to leave Niger for Chad, according to the military regime in the West African country. Recall that last month, France agreed to pull out its troops based in Niger by the end of the year as relations between the two countries worsened.
The military authorities in Niger have announced that another set of French military troops are set to leave the country for Chad in the coming days. The second phase of the withdrawal would mark the halfway point of the French troops stationed in the West African country, according to Colonel Mamani Sani Kayo. Last week, French military convoys began moving out of Niger, a withdrawal forced by the military junta that has dealt France another blow in West Africa's conflict-torn Sahel region. Speaking on the withdrawal, French General Eric Ozane said a group of anti-terror troops that left last week had arrived in Chad's capital, in N'Djamena, and that the journey was smoothly carried out. Recall that last month, France agreed to put out its troops based in Niger by the end of the year, marking a definitive breakdown in military ties with its former colony amid a wave of anti-French sentiment in the region. The military regime that removed President Mohamed Bazoum from office also declared in August that it has terminated the military accords with France, a decision that Paris dismissed as illegitimate. The French ambassador to the West African country recently left Niger after he was expelled by the junta. Niger hosts 1,450 French troops as part of a regional counter-insurgency force. Kamal Sadiq, CBA-TV.
President Emmanuel Macron of France has expressed fear over the uncertain condition facing the deposed president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, who is also his main ally in the region. Macron said this in response to the report that Mr. Bazoum had planned to escape detention where he has been held since July coup.
French President Emmanuel Macron says he is concerned over the uncertain situation facing Niger's deposed president, Mohamed Bazoum. The call for the release of Mr. Bazoum came after the junta that removed him from office said the former president had tried to escape, which was denied by his lawyers. The junta said the escape plan failed and the main actors and some of their accomplices had been arrested. While reacting, the French leader called for the immediate release of Mr. Bazoum and that of his wife and son, the presidency said in a statement. Mr. Macron re-emphasized France's determination to continue its efforts for the restoration of constitutional order in Niger. Mr. Bazoum has not resigned his position as the head of the country since he was deposed. The former leader of the West African country had been held at his residence with his wife and son since he was kicked out of power by the military on July 26. Last month, counsels to the deposed leader announced that he had launched a legal complaint against those who removed him in a court of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and also to the UN Human Rights Council. His lawyers said being held incommunicado was a new red line which has been crossed by a junta which continues to violate the fundamental rights of our client. The French government again vowed to continue to support the ousted leader since the coup and is calling for his release. Kamal Sadiq, CBA-TV.
And with that, the story of the President Emmanuel Macron of France has expressed fear over the uncertain condition facing the deposed president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum. We'll wrap up our program for this time. Thank you for watching the program. This is me, Hamse Daabjeerin.